Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back, and this, as promised, is the second series of games that I'll be casting here before I take off to BlizzCon in Anaheim. I have some of my stuff packed and ready to go, and I'm about to hop in that car for the very long drive from Northern California to Southern California. But before I do, as I promised, I wanted to get another series out of the way. It's going to be an action-packed StarCraft 2 weekend, as it has been an entire month so far. But, during this weekend, I want to make sure you guys have some videos to watch. And of course, you guys will be able to tune into BlizzCon as well, which, as I understand, has some pretty cool content. So yeah, this is going to be the second series here, and we have Complexity MVP's DongRaeGu making another appearance. He is going to be playing against Imba's FXO's Strelok, and Strelok actually the previous winner of the HD World Tournament. He was able to take home a first place prize, so playing a very solid style of Terran. And I'm actually really excited to see how he, goes up toe-to-toe against a player of DongRaeGu's caliber. And, we'll have to see how things are going to play out. Once again, it's a Zerg versus Terran, which is, of course, my favorite matchup to cast. A lot of dynamics that go around, a lot of interesting things that happen. We'll have to see. It looks like we do have an early drone here for DongRaeGu, maybe gearing up for that 15 hatchery, but first checking for a proxy location, and just kind of overlooking the perch on this cliff here to check for anything down on the low ground as well. And he's going to send the drone out to go do some harass duty and some scouting duty while getting that 15 hatch. So there it is. DongRaeGu is going to go ahead and go for the early expand. I also really like how Strelok, I don't know if you guys noticed right there, but he pulled an SCV, went to the right, checked for an Overlord, and he saw the Overlord, so he immediately knows right off the bat that DongRaeGu spawned at the bottom right. Just these little things, guys. The little things really all come together and add up to a whole to just make you that much better of a StarCraft 2 player. So I really like what he's done so far. Now, a quick tech lab going down for Strelok, so most likely going to have a Reaper opening here. I don't see Marauders coming out. That would be very unusual. So the quick Reaper is actually going to be really good on this map, simply because the access for the Reaper, just kind of hopping from here to there, comes across here, hops right back up here. It's a quick access point right into the Zerg main. And, I think DongRaeGu may take some damage from that initial Reaper, because his spawning pool is a little bit later due to the fact that he opened up with a 15 hatchery. So we'll have to see how much damage here Strelok can do, but very attentive going for that quick Reaper. Just noticing the spawn points and realizing, a quick Reaper can do a lot of damage. So here we are. One SCV is going to go ahead and come inside the natural, and the main gets a full scout off. Two queens are on the way right now while the Reaper is hopping out. So the Reaper may be able to get a couple of drone kills. No, it's not going to go for a direct jump into the main. Interesting. Going to go for the Xel'Naga Tower first, at the very least, and then is going to come around into the main. So if Strelok, had any opportunity there to do some damage with his initial Reaper, that was, that was costed by the fact that he went and took a detour to the Xel'Naga Tower, and for now just going to have a scouting position. But whoa, one command center, two command centers, wow. So Strelok going with the macro CC here, and this is something that a lot of Terran players have been doing against Zerg lately. In fact, it's just so smart and so intuitive, because if you think about it, the Zerg mindset against Terran is always to macro, and then macro. If you're a Terran player and you decide to counter greed, the first thing that comes to mind, well, how can I, counter greed? Well, the first thing that comes to your head is outgreed the Zerg player, and that's exactly what Terrans are starting to do now. The quick, early, extra command center, it doesn't need to be lifted off and doesn't need to go to a third. It can just be placed inside the main to have more meals, to have more SCVs, and really it allows you to just have a much stronger economy than the Zerg player can possibly hope to attain. So really smart play right there, and I also like how that Reaper picked off the creep tumors as well. So he's just using the Reaper to deny creep spread, which is also very smart. So far, pretty good play here from Strelok. He's now moving into a factory with a tech lab, and this gives you a couple of options as a Terran player. You can go right into Blue Flame Hellions, you can go right into a tank expand as well, and it looks like Strelok going to choose to go with the latter, to get a siege tank out and siege mode. And he is going to go ahead and lift that natural and go down to the this location and get that mining going. Now, whoa, what is DongRaeGu doing? he has gotten a Roach Horn, and he's going to go for the Roachling bust here. Oh my goodness, I actually don't know if he realized that there was a macro CC. No, he did not, but you know, just going for a Roachling bust against a macro command center is really, really smart. Any type of aggression against a macro command center is genius. If you think about it, there's no units on the field, the Roaches and Lings can do so much damage, and I don't know how Strelok is going to hold off this aggression. Now, he does have a bunker up at the front. He's making a supply depot, but just a single bunker and a tank without siege mode. Siege mode, mind you, is about to come up. But you know what? These Roaches and Lings may just end up doing too much damage for Strelok to recover from. That bunker goes down almost instantly. A second tank comes down. The second tank is going to get picked off by Roaches. That is a horrible loss for Strelok. There it goes. That has gone down. And now, is Strelok going to be able to hold the front door? He's going to bring all of his SCVs to repair the supply depots. And it looks like just barely. He also repairs the tank as well. Very smart from Strelok. If he had lost that tank, then he would have definitely lost this game. But as it stands, he is able to hold on to the main front door. And DongRaeGu, with this aggression, almost ending the game right there, but not quite, not close enough. Strelok, you know, that was where it was very smart. You know, his decision making to go for the tanks rather than the Blue Flame Hellions was very, very smart. Realizing, you know, I have all the macro CCs. I'm going to be pretty much defenseless. What is going to bolster my defense in the strongest way possible? Well, probably going to be the siege tank. So, you know, pretty smart play from him. But he is certainly contained right now on one base. And you know, that's not a position a Terran player wants to be in. Yes, he's got a bunch of macro command centers. Yes, he can get a bunch of SCVs going, but he can't really make any use of that if he doesn't get any minerals here, and none of the and he can't get access to his Vespene geysers as well. So he is going to be forced to land down here. Can he hold on? Roaches and Lings doing some damage, but the tanks in the back able to repel them, and it looks like Strelok going to be able to hold on to the front of the natural. Well played right there by Strelok. Unbelievable. That little Roachling aggression timing from DongRaeGu not quite doing the damage that I thought it would have done. And, you know, when you think about it, a Zerg player has a couple of options if they're going to go for that aggression. Either a Baneling bus or a Roachling. And I almost feel like if DongRaeGu had gone for a Baneling bus, he might have just been able to end the game. Just straight up outright. A Baneling bus against a macro CC is damn near impossible to hold off. Roachling aggression against a quick siege tank, siege tanks is actually really the only counter that a Terran player has against that. So, you know, well played by both players. Just really smart decision making so far. But as it stands, it looks like Strelok is going to hold on to the natural, and he is going to get his production on underway right now. He's got quite a few barracks, 5 barracks with the starport, with factory, macro command center totally online, and DongRaeGu now still on 2 bases. He's trying to get the 3rd up, but he's going right into Mutalisks here, and he's looking to punish the Terran player with some more harass. But you know, I don't think DongRaeGu realizes that there is a command center here. This is making all the difference for Strelok. Strelok actually ahead, or just right behind DongRaeGu right now, tied up with DongRaeGu's SCVs and drones. So as it stands, Strelok is really looking good right now. How much damage are these mutas going to be able to do? The Marines don't have shields yet. They just have stim. So there is a limited amount of times that they can stim up to deal with the mutas. But there's so many Marines on the ground, it doesn't look like DongRaeGu is going to be able to do any damage at all. And Strelok now maybe thinking about pushing out. This is a little interesting. You know, I thought he may have stayed back on his 2 bases for a little longer, get his macro going, but he is going to go ahead and push here. Now, it is going to time with combat shields and +1 weapons. It could do a lot of damage. DongRaeGu losing a couple of his Mutalisks inside the main. He needs to keep every single unit alive right now. And does he have any Banelings on the way? No, he does not. There it is, 3 Banelings in production right now, but he needs a lot more Banelings than that to deal with the Marines and tanks that are pushing across the middle of the map. And ladies and gentlemen, on a map like this, just tanks and Marines are so good. Look at the narrow areas that the Zerg player has to deal with that. It's not good at all, especially if you've only got 3 speedless Banelings. Oh no, it looks like DongRaeGu may be able to kill off some Marines in the middle of the field. So that is actually really good for DongRaeGu, because he was able to whittle down the Marine count. And Strelok with this small expeditionary force gonna get picked off, forced to fall back. But you know what? Strelok's entire goal behind that push was simply to secure the third expansion. He wasn't looking to do any kind of all-in attack. He wasn't looking to do all that much damage. And now he's put that third macro CC to full use. It's now landed, it's now mining, it's getting all the resources that he needs. Strelok looking like a boss. I can't say anything more about that. Now, what is DongRaeGu cooking up inside his bases? He's got a Spire now, he's got Carapace on the way. Got a couple of Mutalisks on the map right now, but you know, these Mutas, they have +1 weapons. They're about to get +1 flyer armor as well. So he's really investing a lot into these Mutas, but is it worth it? He really doesn't have that many. Now he has blown through the missile turret wall. He's going to get inside the mineral line to do some damage against the SCVs and the main production. Not bad at all. And he may have a window to hit the natural as well. How many SCVs is he going to be able to pick off? 15 so far. Make it 16, 18, 19, 21, 23. Not bad. And he's going to get out of there with most of his Mutas alive. Oh, that was rough. Losing 2 right there. And in the meantime, Strelok now doing a counter drop across the top side of the map. Now, there was an Overlord here. So was DongRaeGu paying attention to the minimap or not? I don't think he was, so he may end up losing a lot of drones to these Marines. Strelok now dropping off 8 Marines inside the 4th expansion, stims them up, runs in. Oh my god, it's going to be a free pick here. All the drones are going to go down. The hatchery is in danger as well, as the Marines are +1 weaponed and they have stim upgrade. Are they going to be able to pick off the hatchery? They're not focusing down the hatch. They went for the extractor instead, and as a result, it looks like Strelok's little mini blunder there may have cost him the chance to pick off the hatchery. And that medevac and the Marines are going to go down. So, wow. I'm surprised there. I'm surprised Strelok didn't focus fire that hatchery right away. But he is dropping the main at the same time, so wow, just doing drops all over the map. That drop was cleaned up as well. How many workers were killed off? Just 9 for those 2 medevacs, so I don't think it was quite worth it. And if we look at the economy here, DongRaeGu is a boss too, man. He's got 83 workers of his own, so that's kind of unbelievable considering, you know, he went for the roachling aggression in the early game, was not able to clinch it. He was able to do a lot of damage, but wasn't able to clinch it. He lost a couple of drones here or there to those medevac drops, but at 17 minutes into the game, he has 83 workers and 4 hatcheries. So DongRaeGu is just looking really freaking good right now, guys. Strelok, now realizing the number of Mutas on the field, deciding to get a couple of Thors out of his factories, which I totally agree with. Thors are going to prevent those Mutas from, you know, from clumping up and sniping key units and buildings. And it looks like the 2 Thors are here, but the Mutas, oh, taking some serious damage right there. A lot of Mutas could have went down. They were taking some serious damage. Oh, DongRaeGu's got to be careful. Those Thors are just blasting away at the Mutalisks. And DongRaeGu is forced to fly away. Wow, that was a little interesting right there. Now, oh, is he burrowing? He is burrowing. He's setting up the trap right now. And I don't think Strelok was paying attention there, ladies and gentlemen. So those Marines could all go down to a huge Baneling bust. A very, very big Baneling bust could occur. Strelok, meanwhile, going for another medevac drop. And oh my... Oh, he drops the scan! He drops the scan! Man, DongRaeGu not paying attention. Doesn't... Oh! He's not paying attention, and now tanks are covering that Baneling, so really the Baneling isn't going to be able to do much damage at all. DongRaeGu missing a huge opportunity right there to do some huge damage. Meanwhile, the medevac is dropping off Marines inside the main, so just action occurring all over the place. Looks like that Baneling is still chilling right there. Oh no, that's a bit of an unfortunate mishap for DongRaeGu. And as a result, he has lost all mining at the main. 20 drones now killed, some +1/+wing sent to dispatch of those Marines. And they are going to be able to do just that. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Strelok with the go-ahead walk-away into the 5th hatchery. Going to pick it off. Now the Mutas and Banelings have come through a humongous fungal growth. Just in capturing all those Marines and nearly killing them all. Another fungal could go down. No, DongRaeGu not paying attention. DongRaeGu with very uncharacteristic micro right here. But you can't blame him. He is dealing with so many fronts at once. It looks like he is going to finally deal with that medevac drop that went from the main to the natural. And now Strelok with a big push here. Is DongRaeGu going to have enough forces to break this little Terran contain? I love the position of the tanks. Look at that Thor just protected by siege tanks on all angles. And reinforcements are arriving for Strelok as well. It looks like DongRaeGu forced to attack. He's lost the hatchery, ladies and gentlemen. But he was able to kill off the Terran mech. Not quite all of it, though. And things are looking quite bleak for DongRaeGu here. He's lost so many forces to this continued effort from the Marines and the tanks. And I think that Strelok may be poised to take this game. This first game going to Strelok against DongRaeGu, and Strelok once again showing that foreigners do have a chance against Koreans. We saw Gator beat DongRaeGu in the last series, and now we're about to see Strelok beat DongRaeGu in the first game of this best of 3. I don't see him coming back in this game. That hatchery is going to go down as well. Mutalisks now arriving, but those mutas are completely garbage against +2/+2 Marines. Look at how fast they fall. And DongRaeGu with the GG flies out of this game. So, wow. Strelok with just pinpoint accuracy on where to drop. Great decision making in general. And DongRaeGu with a couple of slip-ups, I feel like. The banelings, really. Key baneling burrows here that could have just hit the jackpot in terms of how many Marines it could have killed off. Man, he missed a huge opportunity right there. So we'll have to see if that happens again in Game 2, because we are going to have Game 2 here in this series. Make sure you guys stay tuned, guys, and we're going to have that game coming right after this. HD signing out.